Hey everyone, it is late at night and I am Norman. I've owned quite a few mechanical watches now for quite a while. And through the course of the time that I've owned these, there have been a few times that I've had to send them in for servicing while they were under warranty. And given that I'm kind of dealing with that with the Ace Jewelers F77, I thought it might be a good idea to do a video letting you guys know what it's like to have to deal with a watch that's having issues while it's under warranty. So let us begin. In a previous video, I discussed the issues that I had had with my Sandhurst, where the watch was just kind of randomly stopping, and I sent it off to Christopher Ward. They fixed it and sent it back to me, but it was still occurring. So I did some sleuthing, observing the watch, and realized that it was the hands fouling on one another. So I let Christopher Ward know and sent it back to them, and after that, it was perfectly fine. It didn't take terribly long for the watch to get serviced. I think I waited a week or two each time that I sent it back, and of course the shipping was free. So Christopher Ward did pretty well in taking care of a watch that they had sold that was having some issues. I also owned the automatic Dolce Vita before getting this quartz variant. And the automatic one had been running fine for a while, and then it started running really fast. And I thought maybe it had become magnetized, so I purchased a demagnetizer and tried demagnetizing it. However, that didn't do anything. So I reached out to the Swatch group, and I was on the phone with somebody pretty much right away. I sent it off to them, and within about a week or so, that watch was serviced, and then they sent it back to me. So the Swatch group was a really decent experience. I did not expect that at all. I thought for sure it would be really tough to get a hold of anybody, and that it would take forever to respond back, and the whole ordeal was just going to be months of waiting, but not at all. They were actually really timely and responsive. Now, I don't know what the turnaround times are nowadays. This was a couple years ago. It might not be so quick now. Now, I have had one terrible experience, and I'm going to save that horror story for last. So stick around to the end of this video, and I'll let you know which watch I had all kinds of grief trying to get it serviced under warranty. Another watch that I've had to have serviced shortly after purchasing it was the Caka 5303. And this one I had to send in to have its crown fixed with the Newton movement that's in it. At first I was only having the issue periodically, so I kind of held off on shipping it in, because at that time my understanding was you had to pay for the servicing up front and then provide the receipt to Caka and they would reimburse you. And having just purchased the Caka, my funds were a little bit tight. However, eventually the problem got really bad to where the watch wasn't even useful at all. You just couldn't do anything with it. So at that point I reached out, they told me where to send it, and I shipped it off to the watchmaker. And again, they were pretty timely. I think it was a week or two wait on that one. And they sent it back to me and never billed me at all. So apparently I was incorrect or misled about how the payment thing goes. And it was Caka themselves that told me how it was going to work out, but it seems the watchmaker billed them directly and I didn't have to pay anything out of pocket for that. And because I delayed, the fix that they applied to this watch is much more permanent. I think originally, when it first came up, There was like a quick fix, but it was something that might need to get fixed again later, I believe. And that information, I think, came from the watchmaker who fixed my Caka. But at any rate, the fix to mine is a permanent fix, and so far it's been performing just great. As for the Ace Jewelers, I reached out to Nevada Grinin, and it took them a couple days to get back to me. They sent me an email requesting more information, some proof of purchase, and a video of the problem that it was having. And so I responded to them, but I didn't hear back for a few days, so I was getting a bit nervous that maybe they were ghosting me. And strangely enough, in the meantime, I went over to a friend's house and I brought it with me because he's really interested in this watch potentially. So I let him wear it throughout the night while we were hanging out, and at one point he said to me, "This watch seems to be working fine." Now, it had done that for me as well, but when I take it off the wrist and let it sit for half an hour, it would stop again. After we hung out, I had it on the shelf overnight, and the next morning it was still running. So I put it back on my wrist and wore it for half a day, and I put it on the time grapher, and what? The movement was performing great. It was about 6 to 9 seconds fast, but everything looked totally healthy, and this continued on till the next day. So I decided I would have my local watchmaker deal with the link that I kind of messed up trying to unscrew the screw. Yeah, and that's where the watch is right now, at least at the time of this recording, because he had to use a chemical on the Loctite and let it sit overnight to try and get that screw out. So I'll probably be getting it back within a day or two, I'm guessing. In the meantime, Nevada Grinin did get back to me, and they've escalated my case. So I responded to them letting them know that I don't have it right now. I'll probably have it back in a couple days, that they don't have to deal with the bracelet at all, just the movement fix. However, I let them know that it's performing now, but if they think that there still might be an issue that needs to be looked into, that I can send it in to them. But, I mean, if it keeps running well, maybe they'll want me to just kind of give it time and keep my eye on it. We'll find out. But like I said, there was one watch that I purchased that had an issue within a couple weeks of receiving the watch, and I reached out to the brand and they responded back to me. And this watch was the 36mm Armita. And what happens with this watch is periodically, if you go to wind it, this is an automatic watch. However, when it falls asleep, I like to give it a little bit of power when I first wake it up. So I do give it a few winds. However, periodically when you go to do that, it's like it spins the rotor instead of actually winding. And sometimes it'll catch in the middle of that and start winding normally. Most of the time it'll wind properly. However, after that initial response from them, where I think they tried to play it off like it was normal, I responded back to them, "This is not normal, it is not supposed to be behaving like this." They just ghosted me. I haven't heard anything back from them. I sent another email or two to them and just dead silence. They're just gonna wait it out till the warranty is expired. So, if you do purchase an Armita, and I love their watches, but their customer service, no, terrible, terrible. Fortunately, I think this watch will be fine until it's time for a normal servicing, at which point I'll mention the crown and probably have it fixed while they're at it. So it will cost me, but it'll be part of a service that I'm already paying for. In the meantime, it seems to wind most of the time, so I'm just kind of careful with it when I am doing that. And it's kind of why I purchased my watch winder, so that I don't have to try and keep it awake when I'm wearing it periodically. I could just put it on the winder and let it keep it awake. So kind of cuts down on the amount of winding that I have to do. I don't think it harms anything. I do know that the movement that's in it is kind of known for this issue, so yeah. I'll just kind of take it easy on it, and when it's time for servicing in a few years, then I'll get it fixed, I think. But I'll keep you updated on the Ace Nevada Grinin F77. We'll see if they want me to send it into them or just kind of observe it, and maybe it was gunky oil or something. That's the only thing I can think of. Maybe a bit of gunked up oil on the train of wheels, causing it to run slow and stop periodically, but the past couple days that I had the watch before dropping it off, it was performing just fine, so we'll see what happens. Thanks for watching.